Yo, what's going on, guys? So in this video, I'm pretty much just gonna show you how I got this record from this.
Just leave the crib, I send a loaded dick, just make her drive around. This dick just make her drive around. Yeah, this dick just make her drive around town.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's it. That's actually done. That's
yeah.
I wouldn't even say redo that. It's not, I literally.
Oh, I thought you was doing the levels and shit.
That's it. You did it. So you want to do dubs or something?
Yeah, dub it. Fuck it.
To this.
Make her drive around. This dick just make her drive around. Yeah, this dick just make her drive around town. This dick just make her drive around. Yeah, that pussy made me move a mountain.
Alright, so to me, this gives me like Kevin Gates vibes. So I'm just gonna kind of go with that mix and see what we come up with. The recording session was pretty dope. If you need a recording template, you can get that at mixedbyl.com. And just so you guys know my vocal chain of what I used, I actually used the Lawton Audio LA320 going into the Ascent 1 EQ. And then I used the Gain Lab Governor as my compressor. And that's pretty much the vocal chain before hitting Pro Tools. So let's see what we come up with. All right, so the first thing that I wanna do is just go ahead and get the key and the BPM of the beat. Now I do have the original session in my session, so if I need anything from it, then we can use it. But for now, you know, we're gonna just start from scratch, and if I hear anything that I wanna use, I can just grab it. Alright, so we're just gonna go with 20%, and we only went down 5 dB. And I've been using Mix into this part 2, and it kind of just gives me what I'm looking for dynamic wise. Alright, so we're gonna actually go -5.5 on here. And again, this is something I could just turn off and turn back on. I've been keeping it on tight. This is, again, presets that I've been making. With this beat already being bass heavy, what I can do, just because I know already, I could just take this, turn that down a notch, and I know I don't need that, but I can keep everything else how I have it. One thing I say, guys, make your own presets, just make your own adjustments when it comes down to it, you know? Alright, so that's completely raw vocals. It sounds good. I like how the vocals are actually responding to my mix bus as well. My mix bus is fairly simple, guys. I'm not even, I might engage my EQ. This is still one of my favorite EQs to use on my mix bus itself. But as of right now, I'm good. I'm liking where it is, and it's just raw right now. So everything's kind of hitting at me like right now. So I know kind of like what to expect.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make her drive around. Just make her drive around. Yeah, just make her drive around town.
Alright, so not too auto-tuney. I think that's perfect for now. That beat is banging. So we're gonna go ahead and go with my SSL channel, and we're gonna go with my go-to preset. I don't think it's ever gonna change. Not now, not today. I don't know when it will. Since I recorded this, I just know exactly what I want. And you know, I like to just put these at Unity. And guys, you know, you can do the same method I do when I use this preset, which you can get this at mixedbyl.com.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make her drive around. Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make her drive around. Just make her drive around. Yeah, just make her drive around town.
It's something around that 4300 with this Lawton Audio 320 that I just like to boost just a little bit, especially when I'm just recording. It just sounds good. Alright, so for the compressor, I'm gonna go with the Brighton. I've been using this lately as my first compressor. It's an opto compressor, and I just kind of adjust these to my liking. So I'm just gonna start off with a 4 ratio. I just adjusted this attack and release a little bit, and we're just gonna go with a little cleaner, not adding so much saturation from this plugin itself, but I like that we have this option to do so. We're gonna just put this to 110, and now we're just gonna go ahead and dial in the settings until we like it.
Just make her drive around. Yeah, just make her drive around town. Just make her drive around. Yeah, just make her drive around town. Just make her drive around. Yeah, that made me move a mountain.
So I kind of like where this is hanging at right here. This actually sounds really good. I am gonna go with a faster attack just to see how that sounds.
Just make a drive around, yeah. Just make a drive around town. Just make a drive around, yeah. That made me move a mountain.
Okay, so I'm liking this attack here and this release here. So that's where I'm going to keep it at. And I'm just going to soften up these transients just a little bit. All right, so I've been actually using this. I just push learn here. I let it do what it do. And then I add the adjustments that I want. This has been coming in handy a lot. I don't know. I guess I just think of it like a de-esser, but it's kind of like soothe, I guess. So I'm just going to go ahead and learn this audio.
Drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah. Just make a drive around town. Just make a drive around. Yeah, that made me move a mountain.
All right, so this is pretty much what this came up with for me, and I could just kind of adjust this how I want right here. So we're just gonna put it to the top really fast, and then we're gonna drag it down.
Just make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah, just make a drive around town. Just make a drive around. Yeah, that made me move a mountain. That made me move a mountain. Made me move a mountain. Say that made me move a mountain.
So it is kind of adjusting the whole entire vocal itself of where it's just hearing and corrections, and I like it. Like, I like what it does, and I'm still gonna apply a de-esser right after it. I just like to hit that right before the de-esser is giving that de-esser just less work in a sense.
Just make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah. Just make a drive around town.
Now I am going to go ahead and, guys, this doesn't change. A lot of this stuff does not change for me. Gonna go with my C4, gonna go on my preset kit here and go to the can opener. And the reason why I just like to do this before I even actually get into some more EQing, because this kind of solves a lot of my problems right before I'm, oh, okay, I don't even need an EQ and do all the sharpness. I just apply this on here. It kind of gives me the balance that I'm looking for in my mix. And again, I just adjust these 4 knobs here. I kind of keep all these other numbers the same, as it just works when it comes to the stage of where I'm hearing where I want to do things. This just works for me. Again, if you mix differently, this may not work for you.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib. I send a loaded. Just make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah. Just make a drive around town. Just make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah. Just make a drive around town.
So pretty much, you see, I'm just adjusting these 4 knobs to where I'm liking how it's sounding. You know, we're gonna apply our Vox right after it.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib. I send a loaded. Just make a drive around. Just make a drive around.
A simple dB of gain reduction is just gonna be perfect, because we're still gonna add a little bit more body to the vocal with the ZNH 1178 as well. So pretty much go up to my Vox summing, which this is where I add my hardware, because all of my Vox channels are gonna go into this compressor, and that's my goal. So we are gonna use the ZNH 1178.
Just make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah. Just make a drive around town.
All right, so with the last settings that I use on the last mix, it actually sounds pretty good. It actually sounds really good. So let me just make some adjustments here.
Just make a drive around. Yeah. Just make a drive around town. Just make a drive around. Yeah. That made me move a mountain. Just make a drive around. Yeah. Just make a drive around town. Just make a drive around. Yeah, that made me move a mountain.
All right, so I'm liking that, and as you see, I have a very strong vocal chain already going into this 1178. So what I ended up doing was I went and I put it at a 4 ratio, because with 1178 you can get some clean transparency, especially with the ZNH. Plugin Alliance, they did their thing with this black box EQ, and the reason why I say this is because when you're boosting, you're getting saturation. You can turn it off and probably have regular EQ. I keep this saturation on at all times. You can solo to stereo, solo to mono, and you can cut. So I think with cut, it's just regular EQing, which that makes sense. But when you're boosting with saturation. And at the end of my vocal chain, instead of me using like a Pro Q3 as I normally would, I've been using this, and the top end, this everything that I get from this, I'm not really using that air feature that I have like on my parallel anymore, especially since this came out.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around.
Simple 40 is fine.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around. Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded. Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around.
I'm liking this cut here at 460. And then for the high end, I'm usually just going all the way down to this 15K. It sounds so good. And then I just make sure that's as wide as it can be.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around.
It pops out so quickly at you. Like, this is just shaping the vocal. I'm gonna go ahead and add soothe. I've been using my It's Too Harsh preset a lot lately. I like this preset and how it sounds and how it translates on my mixes. So we're gonna go ahead and just change this resolution to ultra. All right, so we're really just gonna turn this depth knob until we like it.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah, just make a drive around town.
Now for like Kevin Gates type vocals, I do think the Dark Magic preset kit would be perfect for it, and I just go with something like Dreamer and turn this down.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around.
But you can get this preset kit at mixedbyl.com as well, and I'm just gonna stick with that.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around. Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around. That made me move a mountain. That made me move a mountain. Say that made me move a mountain. Cause it just make a drive around. Hey, just make a drive around.
Alright, so when vocals are doubled like this, the best thing that you can do is go to vocal align and go ahead and get these lined up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take it from here to here. We're gonna capture these, and then from here to here. All right, so with the doubles, I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate my chain. And then what I've been doing when I duplicate the chain is I actually been putting something I used to put on my vocals a long time ago. It's this PS22 stereo, and I just give it a little bit of more width right here. And this is just for like my doubles in the background. So like I'll take these two because he's doubling right here, and we're gonna move these into Vox double.
Ain't coming to your house, ain't coming to your house, just leave.
So now we got a nice stereo feel with those background vocals.
Ain't coming to your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah, just make a drive around town. Just make a drive around. Yeah, that made me move a mountain.
And then with this being doubles, we could just do a high pass around 120.
Your house, just leave the crib, I send a loaded, just make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah, just make a drive around town. Just make a drive around.
All right, guys, and with that being said, that's how I would mix Kevin Gates vocals if it came across my desk. So I hope that this video helped you. If it did, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you need any of the gear that I have used in the vocal chain or in the mix itself, the links will be in the description. And you know we have more gems on the way.
Make a drive around. Just make a drive around. Yeah, this dick just make a drive around town. This dick just make a drive around. Yeah, that pussy made me move a mountain.